The endless void of space held countless stories, but none quite as devastating as the war that had consumed the galaxy for 3 centuries. Through the reinforced windows of Research Station Helios, Dr. Jai-Ho Park watched as distant flashes of light marked another battle between the Stellar Confederation and the Unity Alliance. Each burst represented countless lives lost in a conflict whose original purpose had long been forgotten. The station's observation deck offered a perfect view of Saturn's rings, their icy particles glinting like scattered diamonds in the sun's distant light. Jai-Ho had chosen this posting specifically because of its isolation. The Sol system, birthplace of the long-vanished human species, held little strategic value to either warring faction. This made it an ideal location for the neutral scientific coalition to conduct their research in peace. Jai-Ho's weathered hands traced the cool surface of his desk as he reviewed the latest casualty reports. The Stellar Confederation had lost 3 colony worlds in the past month alone. The Unity Alliance's response had been to destroy 5 of the Confederation's supply routes. The cycle of destruction seemed endless. The research station's quiet atmosphere was broken only by the soft hum of life support systems and the occasional ping of monitoring equipment. The small crew of 20 scientists and support staff went about their daily routines, cataloging data about Saturn's moons and studying the remnants of human civilization they occasionally discovered. Jai-Ho's personal quarters doubled as his office, the walls lined with holographic displays showing various archaeological sites across the solar system. Physical artifacts sat in carefully preserved cases, fragments of human technology that had survived the millennia. A broken tablet computer here, a partially intact satellite there. Each piece told part of the story of humanity's mysterious disappearance. The station's artificial day cycle was approaching evening when Jai-Ho's contemplation was interrupted by rapid footsteps in the corridor outside. The doors slid open with a soft whoosh, revealing his assistant Sun-Mi Lee. Her usually neat dark hair was disheveled, and her eyes were wide with excitement. "Doctor, you need to see this immediately." Sun-Mi's voice quivered with barely contained enthusiasm as she rushed to his desk, her tablet computer clutched tightly in her hands. Jai-Ho straightened in his chair, noting the way Sun-Mi's hands trembled as she activated her tablet's holographic display. "What have you found?" he asked, his calm voice masking his growing curiosity. Sun-Mi's fingers danced across the holographic interface, bringing up a 3-dimensional scan of Titan, Saturn's largest moon. We were running our monthly deep scan survey of Titan's subsurface structures. The new quantum imaging system picked up something we've never seen before. The hologram zoomed in on a specific section of Titan's crust, about 3 kilometers beneath the surface. Jai-Ho leaned forward, his eyes narrowing as he studied the image. Amid the natural ice and rock formations, there was something distinctly artificial, a massive geometric structure that couldn't possibly have formed naturally. "We've detected unusual energy readings from this location," Sun-Mi continued, overlaying a new data set that showed pulsing patterns of energy emanating from the structure. "They're unlike anything in our database. The energy signature doesn't match any known technology. Not ours, not the Confederation's, not the Alliance's." Jai-Ho stood slowly, his mind racing with possibilities. How did we miss this before? "The energy signature only appeared 3 days ago," Sun-Mi explained, pulling up a timeline of their scans. "It's as if something down there just woke up." The implications were staggering. Titan had been surveyed countless times over the centuries, both by the scientific coalition and the warring factions. If this structure had been dormant until now, it could only mean one thing. They were looking at technology that predated the current galactic civilizations. Jai-Ho moved to the window, gazing at Titan's hazy orange atmosphere in the distance. "Have you told anyone else about this?" "No, Doctor. I came straight to you." "Good." Jai-Ho turned back to his assistant. "We need to keep this quiet for now. If either the Confederation or the Alliance learns about this, they'll send military forces to claim it. We can't let this discovery become another weapon in their war. Sunli nodded in agreement, but her expression remained troubled. What do you think it is? Jai-Ho returned to the hologram, studying the geometric patterns of the structure. Look at these designs, he said, pointing to specific sections. They're too precise, too intentional. This isn't just a building. It's a facility of some kind. And given its location and age. He paused, almost afraid to voice his conclusion. You think it's human technology? Sun Mai whispered, the weight of the possibility heavy in her voice. It has to be. The humans vanished without a trace over 1,000 years ago, but they lived in this system. They built things here. Jai-Ho's voice grew stronger with conviction. And now, something they left behind has awakened. The two scientists stood in silence, watching the pulsing energy readings from the mysterious structure. Outside their window, another distant flash marked yet another battle in the endless war. But for the first time in years, Jai-Ho felt something he had almost forgotten. Hope. Prepare a small team, he finally said. We'll need our best people for this. And Sunli. He turned to his assistant with a slight smile. Thank you for bringing this to me first. This discovery, it could change everything. As Sunli hurried off to make the necessary arrangements, Jai-Ho remained at his desk, studying the scans with intense concentration. In all his years of studying human artifacts, he had never seen anything like this. The structure's complexity, its size, and most importantly, its sudden activation, all pointed to something far more significant than a simple archaeological find. The war that had consumed the galaxy for 3 centuries might have seemed important to the billions caught in its grip, but Jai-Ho had a feeling they had just discovered something that would make those conflicts seem insignificant in comparison. As night fell on the research station, he began making his own preparations. Whatever secrets lay buried beneath Titan's icy surface, he was determined to uncover them before the warring factions could turn this discovery into another instrument of destruction. The massive drilling platform descended slowly through Titan's thick orange atmosphere, carrying the carefully selected expedition team toward their destination. Through the reinforced viewports, Dr. Jai-Ho Park watched sheets of methane rain streak across the glass. The structure they had detected lay 3 kilometers beneath their feet, waiting in the darkness. All systems are functioning at optimal levels, announced Taiwan Kim from his engineering station. His fingers moved across multiple control panels with practiced ease, monitoring the platform's descent. The thermal shielding is holding against the atmospheric conditions. Hei Nul Kang, their security specialist, stood near the platform's exit hatch, checking her environmental suit for the 3rd time. Her movements were precise and methodical, reflecting years of experience in hostile environments. Remember, we have no idea what we're walking into down there. Everyone stays alert and follows safety protocols. Sun Li sat beside Jai-Ho, reviewing the latest scan data on her tablet. The structure's energy signature had grown stronger over the past week, pulsing in regular intervals that defied explanation. The pattern hasn't changed, she reported. Whatever's down there, it's becoming more active. The drilling platform carried a crew of 12, the minimum number needed for a safe expedition while maintaining secrecy. Besides the core team, they had brought 2 geological specialists, 3 support technicians, and 3 additional security personnel. Each had been chosen for their discretion as much as their expertise. Beginning final descent phase, Taiwan announced. The platform's powerful drills engaged, cutting through the moon's icy crust. Layers of frozen methane and water ice gave way before their advance, carefully melted and displaced by the platform's heating elements. Hours passed as they descended. The team occupied themselves with equipment checks and final preparations. Jai-Ho spent the time studying the preliminary scans, trying to make sense of the structure's layout. Its geometric precision suggested an advanced understanding of engineering that exceeded current galactic standards. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Taiwan's voice broke the tension. We're approaching the outer shell of the structure. 50 meters. 30. 10. The drill slowed, then stopped. Through the platform's lower cameras, they could see something reflecting their lights, a smooth metallic surface that shouldn't have existed at this depth. "Let's suit up," Jai-Ho ordered, rising from his station. "No, your team takes point. No one touches anything without clearance." The team donned their environmental suits with practiced efficiency. Each suit was designed to withstand Titan's extreme conditions, equipped with 4 hours of air supply and advanced scanning equipment. Hae-Newell's security team carried non-lethal defensive weapons, a precaution that had seemed excessive during planning, but now felt reassuring. The platform's lower hatch opened with a soft hiss, extending a walkway to the mysterious surface below. Hae-Newell led the way, her helmet lights illuminating the structure's exterior. The metal surface was unmarked by time or corrosion, as pristine as if it had been built yesterday instead of lying hidden for centuries. "This material composition doesn't match anything in our database," Sun Mai reported, running her scanner over the surface. "The molecular structure suggests manufacturing techniques we don't understand." Taiwan discovered the first marking, a slight indentation in the otherwise smooth surface. As he brushed away the remaining ice, a symbol became visible, a stylized shield surrounded by intricate patterns that resolved themselves into binary code. "It's human design," Jai-Ho breathed, his voice filled with wonder. "This is their language, their mathematics." Binary code was the foundation of their computer systems. The team spread out, searching for an entrance. They found it 20 meters from their landing site, a massive doorway, sealed but marked with the same shield symbol. Taiwan approached the control panel beside it, his engineering sensors active. "There's power flowing through these systems," he reported. "Active power, not residual energy. This facility is still running after all this time." Jai-Ho stepped forward, studying the control panel. Unlike the smooth exterior, this surface was covered in markings, more binary code, arranged in patterns that suggested an interface. "Sun Mai, begin recording everything." "Taiwan, can you interface with it?" The engineer connected his equipment to the panel, his expression hidden behind his helmet visor as he worked. Minutes passed in tense silence before he spoke again. "The system is active but locked. It's asking for authentication." "What kind of authentication?" Hae-Newell asked, moving closer to provide security coverage. "Genetic," Taiwan replied. "It's specifically requesting human DNA." The team exchanged glances through their helmet visors. Human DNA was rare but not impossible to find. Their species had left traces throughout the solar system. Jai-Ho had come prepared for this possibility. From a secure compartment in his suit, he removed a small vial containing a preserved human tissue sample, collected years ago from an ancient research facility on Mars. With careful movements, he placed a drop of the solution on the panel's sensor pad. For a moment, nothing happened. Then light began to spread from the point of contact, racing along previously invisible lines in the structure's surface. The massive doors shuddered, then slowly began to open. "By the stars," Sun Mai whispered, her scanner displaying readings that should have been impossible. "The energy output. This facility has more power than a small star." As the door opened fully, their lights revealed a vast chamber beyond. The walls were lined with sleeping computer banks, their surfaces displaying the same shield symbol they had found outside. The air that rushed out was breathable. The facility had maintained its atmosphere for centuries. "This isn't just some abandoned outpost," Jai-Ho said, his voice filled with awe. "This is something far more significant. The humans didn't just disappear. They left this here for a reason." Hae-Newell signaled her team to move forward, securing the entrance chamber. "Whatever the reason," she said, "I have a feeling we're about to find out." Those energy readings are still climbing. The team moved into the facility, their footsteps echoing in spaces that had waited untold years for their arrival. None of them spoke of the war raging above, but they all felt the weight of their discovery. Whatever secrets this place held, they had the potential to change everything. for better or worse. Jai-Ho moved deeper into the chamber, his mind racing with possibilities. The humans had been considered primitive by current galactic standards, their sudden disappearance attributed to some unknown catastrophe. But looking at the technology surrounding them, he realized their assumptions had been completely wrong. The humans hadn't vanished because of failure. They had chosen to leave something behind, something that was only now awakening. The team moved cautiously through the ancient facility's winding corridors, their footsteps echoing against metal floors that hadn't felt human presence in centuries. Their helmet lights cast long shadows, revealing more of the strange binary markings along the walls. Each step took them deeper into the heart of the structure. Newell led the way, her security training evident in every careful movement. She paused at each intersection, checking for any signs of automated defenses or security measures. Behind her, Ta-Wan kept his eyes on the growing energy readings, while Sun-Mi documented everything with her scanner. "The power signatures are getting stronger," Ta-Wan reported, his voice hushed despite their secure comm links. "Whatever's generating this energy, we're getting closer to its source." The corridor widened suddenly, opening into a vast circular chamber that made everyone stop in their tracks. The ceiling arched high above them, disappearing into darkness despite their powerful lights. The floor beneath their feet was inscribed with intricate patterns that seemed to glow faintly with their own inner light. Newell knelt to examine the floor patterns more closely. "These aren't random designs," she said, tracing one of the lines with her gloved hand. "Look at the arrangement. They're star patterns, old Earth constellations." Jai-Ho moved to her side, his breath catching as he recognized the patterns. Ursa Major, Orion, Cassiopeia. "This is a map of the night sky as it would have appeared from Earth over 1,000 years ago." The chamber's walls were lined with dormant control panels, their surfaces covered in the same binary code they'd seen throughout the facility. At the center of the room stood a raised platform, its surface bearing the now familiar shield emblem. Ta-Wan approached one of the control panels, his engineering sensors active. "These systems are different from the outer door. More sophisticated. The power readings here are off the scale. Can you interface with them?" Jai-Ho asked, studying the central platform. "I think so. The system architecture is complex, but..." Ta-Wan's voice trailed off as he worked. "There's something here. Another genetic authentication request, but it's more specific this time." Jai-Ho removed the preserved tissue sample again, but Ta-Wan shook his head. "No, this is different. It needs living tissue, fresh DNA contact." The team exchanged concerned looks. None of them had expected this level of sophistication from supposedly primitive human technology. Jai-Ho considered their options carefully before speaking. "All our research suggests humans and our species share a distant common ancestor," he said slowly. "Our DNA structures are similar enough that some of our medical equipment can be calibrated for human use." "Perhaps." "Doctor, you can't be serious," Sun-Mi protested. "We have no idea what this system might do. We also have no idea what might happen if we leave it dormant," Jai-Ho countered. "The energy readings are still increasing. Whatever this facility is, it's waking up with or without our help." After a moment of tense discussion, Jai-Ho removed his glove. The chamber's air had tested safe, so he disconnected his helmet seal. With careful movements, he placed his bare hand on the control interface. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the floor patterns began to glow brighter, lines of light spreading from the central platform throughout the chamber. The walls came alive with scrolling data, and a low hum filled the air. "Energy surge," Ta-Wan called out, but his warning came too late. A beam of light shot up from the central platform, coalescing into a human figure. The hologram was incredibly detailed. A woman wearing what appeared to be an ancient Earth military uniform. Her appearance was both authoritative and calming. "I am Aria," the hologram announced, her voice clear and natural. "Advanced Response Intelligence Array. Earth Defense Protocol has been activated." The figure turned, seeming to study each team member in turn. analyzing current galactic situation and genetic profiles of present individuals. The team stood frozen, watching as data streams flowed around the hologram. Aria's expression remained neutral as she processed information at an incredible speed. "Genetic analysis complete," she announced. "Detected evolutionary markers consistent with Project Seedworld. Your species represents a successful branch of human-guided evolution." Jaiho stepped forward, his scientific curiosity overcoming his caution. "You know of our origins. Your ancestors were part of humanity's long-term survival strategy," Aria explained. "Multiple worlds were seeded with genetically modified human DNA, designed to adapt to different environments. Your civilization is one of the successful outcomes." The implications of this revelation stunned the team into silence. Their entire understanding of their species' history had just been upended. "Current galactic situation analysis complete," Aria continued. "Detecting ongoing armed conflict between multiple civilizations. This triggers primary protocols." The hologram's expression became more focused. The Titan facility was established as part of Earth's contingency plan. "We knew there would come a time when our children would need guidance." "Children?" Sunmai whispered. "You mean us?" "All current galactic civilizations are descended from human origins," Aria confirmed. "The war you now wage is, in essence, a family conflict. That is why this facility has awakened. The defense protocol was designed to activate when the children of Earth reached a critical point in their development." Hanul tightened her grip on her equipment. "What exactly does this protocol entail?" The hologram's expression softened slightly. "Peace enforcement, if necessary. But first, you must understand who you are, and why humanity chose to step back from the galactic stage. The truth has been waiting here, in this facility, for the right moment." As ARIA spoke, more systems throughout the chamber activated, displaying historical data, technical specifications, and information that would reshape their understanding of the galaxy. The team stood transfixed, watching as the legacy of humanity began to unfold before them, each revelation more astonishing than the last. Aria's holographic form expanded, filling the chamber with three-dimensional displays of Earth's history. The research team watched in amazement as scenes from humanity's past played out before them. Cities that stretched into the clouds, vessels that bent space itself, and technologies that seemed more like magic than science. "You have been taught that humanity was primitive," Aria began, her voice carrying the weight of centuries. "That they vanished due to their own limitations. This was by design." Jaiho stepped closer to one of the displays, watching as it showed Earth in its prime. "You chose to disappear?" he asked, his voice filled with wonder. "Humanity reached a crossroads," Aria explained, showing scenes of early space exploration. "We had developed technologies that could reshape planets, harness the power of stars, and traverse the galaxy in moments. But with that power came a choice." The displays shifted, showing the seeding of various worlds, the beginning of their own civilizations. Taiwan gasped as he recognized his own homeworld in its early stages. "We could have dominated the galaxy," Aria continued. "Instead, humanity chose to guide rather than rule. We created the seed worlds, planting the foundations for new civilizations, your civilizations, to develop independently." Sunmai was rapidly recording everything, her hands shaking slightly as she worked. "But why leave? Why abandon such advancement?" The hologram's expression softened. "Because true wisdom is knowing when not to use power." Humanity had seen its own history of wars, of how technology could be misused. They refused to risk becoming galactic tyrants. New images appeared, showing massive facilities being constructed throughout the solar system. The Guardian Network was created, a system of advanced AI custodians placed in strategic locations. We were programmed to watch, to wait, and to intervene only when absolutely necessary. Hamul stepped forward, her security training making her cautious. "And now, why reveal yourself after all this time?" "Because your war has reached a critical point," Aria replied. Multiple displays showed current battle footage from across the galaxy. The conflict between the Stellar Confederation and Unity Alliance threatens to destroy everything humanity worked to build. The chamber's lights pulsed, and new systems came online. Humanity didn't just go into hiding, Araya revealed. They entered long-term cryo-sleep in facilities hidden throughout the galaxy. They wait in suspended animation, ready to return when their children, all of you, are ready to join them as equals. Jaiho's mind raced with the implications. The technology we've been fighting over, destroying worlds to control, is nothing compared to what humanity achieved. Araya finished. Your most advanced weapons are toys compared to the technology they chose to set aside. The hologram raised her hand, and the chamber filled with a soft blue light. I am now activating the Guardian Protocol's primary function. This message is being broadcast across all frequencies to every ship, station, and colony in the galaxy. The team watched as Araya's image appeared on every screen and display in the chamber. Her voice, now firm and authoritative, echoed through the facility. To all citizens of the galaxy, this is Araya, Guardian of the Titan facility. Your war ends today. The children of Earth have fought long enough. You have forgotten your common origins, your shared heritage. Humanity's gift to you was independence, not endless conflict. Tactical displays showed massive energy signatures activating throughout the solar system. Similar readings appeared across the galaxy map, indicating other Guardian facilities coming online. For centuries, we have watched you grow, learn, and sadly, fight. We had hoped you would find peace on your own. That time has passed. The Guardian network is now active. All military vessels will find their weapon systems temporarily disabled. Your choice is simple. Learn to coexist, or we will be forced to demonstrate just how far behind human technology you remain. Sunmi's scanner beeped urgently. The energy readings. This facility alone has enough power to disable every ship in the sector. This is not a threat. Araya continued, her broadcast reaching every corner of known space. This is a reminder of who you are, and an invitation to become something greater. The war is over. The time for reunion approaches. The chamber fell silent as the broadcast ended. Jiho looked at his team, seeing the same mix of awe and uncertainty on their faces that he felt himself. Centuries of history had just been rewritten, and the galaxy would never be the same. Now, Araya said, turning back to the research team, shall we begin preparing for humanity's return? There is much work to be done, and you will be the first to help bridge the gap between the past and the future. Outside the facility, far above Titan's surface, the first ships of both warring factions were discovering that their weapons no longer responded. The age of senseless conflict was ending, not with a final battle, but with the quiet revelation of a truth that had waited patiently in the dark for centuries. The Titan facility's control chamber had transformed into a galactic command center. Holographic displays filled the air, showing real-time movements of ships across the solar system. Jiho and his team watched as a massive Unity Alliance battle fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Saturn's orbit. Detecting 37 warships, Taiwan reported, studying the tactical displays. Heavy cruisers, destroyer-class vessels, and what appears to be their latest dreadnought design. Sunmi's hands moved across her console, analyzing the incoming data. Their charging weapon systems, standard attack formation. Araya's hologram stood calmly at the center of the chamber, observing the approaching fleet. They seek to test our capabilities, she stated. This is expected. Initiating Containment Protocol Alpha. The team watched in amazement as new holographic interfaces appeared, showing energy readings that defied their understanding of physics. From the facility deep beneath Titan's surface, waves of invisible force reached out across space. Power output exceeding measurable levels, Taiwan whispered, his engineering instruments struggling to capture the readings. The facility is channeling more energy than a small star. The effect on the Alliance fleet was immediate and absolute. Every ship, from the smallest destroyer to the massive dreadnought, simply stopped. Their engines continued to burn, but they remained frozen in space, as if caught in invisible amber. What? Hey Newell stepped closer to the tactical display, her security training making her analyze every detail. What kind of technology can stop a fleet in its tracks like that? Localized space-time manipulation, Araya explained, as casual as if describing the weather. The ships are held in a temporal bubble. From their perspective, time has nearly stopped. They are perfectly safe, merely paused. Communications channels suddenly lit up as the fleet tried to respond to their situation. Araya raised her hand, and all their transmissions were automatically routed through the facility's systems. "This is Admiral Chen of the Unity Alliance fleet," a voice echoed through the chamber. "Our ships are experiencing some kind of system-wide failure. Demand immediate explanation." Araya's response was transmitted across all channels. "Admiral, your fleet has entered a protected system. The weapons you carry are no longer necessary. They have been temporarily disabled for your own safety." The Admiral's voice grew angry. "This is an act of war. The Alliance will not stand for." "No, Admiral," Araya interrupted, her tone gentle but firm. "This is an act of peace. Allow me to demonstrate further." With a gesture, Araya activated another system. The team watched as streams of data flowed through the fleet's ships, bypassing their security measures as if they didn't exist. "What are you doing to their systems?" Jaiho asked, fascinated by the display of technological superiority. "Sharing truth," Araya replied. On the tactical displays, the Alliance ships' computer systems were being filled with historical data about humanity, their true origins, and the purpose of the Guardian facilities. "Impossible," the Admiral's voice returned, now shaken. "These records, this technology, this can't be real." "And yet here we are," Araya responded. "Your most advanced ships hover helpless in space, held by technology you cannot detect, let alone understand. The weapons you believe make you powerful are less advanced than what humanity chose to set aside centuries ago." Jaiho moved closer to one of the displays showing the technical specifications of the containment field. The mathematics involved were beyond anything his civilization had achieved. "All this time," he said softly, "we thought we were so advanced. We've been fighting wars with technology that must seem primitive to them." The chamber fell silent as Araya released her hold on the fleet. The ships remained in place, no longer trying to engage their weapons. On the communications channels, they could hear the Admiral ordering his crews to stand down. "Your civilizations have spent centuries fighting over resources, territory, and technological advantages," Araya said to both the fleet and the research team. "But you have been fighting with tools left in humanity's cradle, never realizing that the true legacy of Earth waited quietly for you to mature enough to receive it." Suddenly, scanners detected more ships entering the system, this time from the Stellar Confederation. Araya simply expanded the containment field, bringing the new arrivals to the same gentle halt as their enemies. All these years of war, Jaiho reflected, watching the two fleets hang motionless in space, all the destruction and loss of life. And humanity could have stopped it at any time. "They chose not to," Araya explained. "They gave their children freedom to grow, to make mistakes, to learn. But now the time for childhood conflicts has passed. The galaxy faces challenges that require unity, not division." The displays showed more Guardian facilities activating across known space. Each one began the process of neutralizing weapons, sharing information, and preparing for humanity's return. "We were never meant to rule the galaxy," Jaiho realized, finally understanding the full scope of humanity's plan. "We were meant to join them as equals, to be part of something greater than our petty wars." Araya nodded, her holographic form showing satisfaction. "And now that process can begin. The children of Earth have finally reached the point where they must either grow up or destroy themselves. Humanity chose to ensure it would be the former." Outside, in the void of space, the once mighty warships of both factions began to power down their weapon systems voluntarily. The age of senseless conflict was ending, not through force or conquest, but through the revelation that they had all been playing at war while their true potential waited patiently in the shadows. The observation deck of Research Station Helios had been transformed into a meeting chamber. Representatives from both the Stellar Confederation and Unity Alliance sat across from each other, their faces showing a mix of awe and concern as they gazed through the reinforced windows at Titan's surface below. Sun Mi moved efficiently among the delegates, ensuring each had access to the data packets ARIA had prepared. Her usual laboratory attire had been replaced with formal diplomatic dress, befitting her role as liaison between the facility and the gathered leaders. The data you're receiving has been verified by multiple independent sources, she explained, her voice steady despite the historical weight of the moment. Every Guardian facility we've detected has confirmed the same information. Taiwan stood at a console nearby, his fingers dancing across holographic displays as he compiled his latest discoveries. The engineering expert had spent the last 48 hours exploring the facility's databases, each new finding more remarkable than the last. The network is vast, he reported, bringing up a galactic map marked with dozens of glowing points. Guardian facilities exist in every major sector of known space. Some are even beyond our current exploration range. The delegates murmured among themselves, their earlier hostility forgotten in the face of such revelations. Admiral Chen of the Unity Alliance leaned forward, studying the map with intense focus. And each of these facilities has the same capabilities as this one? He asked, his voice carrying a note of disbelief. Some have even greater capabilities. ARIA's hologram appeared in the center of the room. The Titan facility is merely one node in a vast network designed to safeguard humanity's legacy. Commander CO of the Stellar Confederation rose from her seat, her diplomatic training evident in her measured tone. You speak of safeguarding, yet you threaten to disable our technology. How is this different from conquest? ARIA's expression remained calm. We offer a choice, not a threat. The Guardian Network can selectively disable any technology derived from human designs, which, as you now know, includes most of your advanced systems. But this is not our preferred outcome. Jaiho stepped forward, having earned the respect of both factions through his role in the discovery. What the commander means is that we're being asked to trust a system we barely understand. No, ARIA corrected gently. You're being asked to trust your own origins. The technology that powers your ships, your weapons, your very way of life. All of it came from human designs left behind for you to find. We simply maintained the more advanced systems until you were ready. Taiwan activated another display, showing the technical specifications of the dampening fields. The level of control is precise. They can target specific technologies while leaving essential systems like life support untouched. The choice is simple, ARIA continued. Accept an immediate galaxy-wide ceasefire, begin the process of reconciliation, and prepare for humanity's return. Or continue your war with sticks and stones, as all advanced technology will be neutralized. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Centuries of conflict, countless lives lost, worlds destroyed, all over technology that had been deliberately left like toys in a children's playground. Sun Mi distributed new data tablets, these containing proposed terms for the ceasefire. The Guardian facilities will maintain peace during the transition period, she explained. All military vessels will be allowed to return to their home ports, but their weapon systems will remain inactive. And if we refuse? A delegate from the Alliance asked. ARIA's response was immediate. The holographic displays shifted, showing a simulation of what would happen if the dampening fields were fully activated. Ships would drift powerless in space. Colony worlds would lose their advanced infrastructure. Centuries of technological progress would vanish in moments. This is not a negotiation, ARIA stated firmly. This is an opportunity. Humanity left us to grow independently, hoping we would choose wisdom over war. They wait now in suspended animation, ready to return and share knowledge beyond your imagining. But first, you must prove you can set aside your conflicts. Commander CO exchanged looks with Admiral Chen. Decades of mistrust and hatred seemed to flow between them, but also something new, understanding. How long do we have to decide? The Admiral asked. Time enough to contact your governments, Araya replied, but not long enough to plan any foolish acts of defiance. The Guardian network is fully awake now. There will be no more battles, one way or another. Taiwan's console beeped, drawing attention. More facilities are activating, he reported. The network is establishing full coverage of known space. Jaiho watched the delegates absorb this news, seeing the moment their resistance crumbled. They had all seen the demonstration of power, the casual way their mighty fleets had been rendered harmless. There was really only one choice they could make. Perhaps, Commander CO said slowly, it's time we discuss terms for permanent peace. The meeting continued long into the night, as the representatives of warring civilizations finally began the process of ending their conflict. Outside the station, Titan's methane seas continued their eternal tides, while deep beneath the surface, ancient machines hummed with power, ready to enforce the peace that humanity had waited so long to see. The war that had burned across the galaxy for 3 centuries was ending not with a final battle, but with a choice: grow up or be grounded. As the delegates worked on the details of their surrender to peace, the first signals were already being sent to the hidden places where humanity slept, waiting for their children to finally come home. 1 year after the awakening of the Titan facility, Jiho stood in his new office aboard the Reconciliation Station, watching ships from former enemy fleets dock peacefully alongside each other. The massive space station, built in Saturn's orbit, had become the center of a transformed galaxy. The latest reports from the outer colonies are in, Sunmai announced, entering the office with her ever-present data tablet. The transition continues to exceed expectations. Former military vessels are being converted to exploration and scientific research at an impressive rate. Jaiho smiled, remembering how quickly things had changed after that historic meeting on Titan, and the new security protocols. Haenul's system is working perfectly, Sunmai replied. Not a single military confrontation in the past 6 months. The Guardian network barely needs to intervene anymore. Haenul had revolutionized galactic security, creating a framework that emphasized cooperation over confrontation. Her experience as a security specialist, combined with the advanced technology provided by the Guardian facilities, had transformed former enemies into partners. Taiwan's voice came over the station's comm system. Doctor, you're needed in Chamber 7. We found something new. The research team had spent the past year exploring newly awakened Guardian facilities throughout the galaxy. Each discovery added another piece to humanity's grand design. Chamber 7 was their latest project, a massive complex discovered beneath Europa's ice. Jaiho made his way through the station's corridors, noting how personnel from the Confederation and Alliance now worked side by side without tension. The change hadn't been instant, but the revelation of their common heritage had helped heal centuries of division. In Chamber 7, Taiwan stood before a massive holographic display, his expression one of wonder. We finally decoded the last section of the Europa facilities database, he said as Jaiho entered. It contains coordinates for every human cryo storage facility in the galaxy. The display showed thousands of locations, far more than they had expected. They really did plan for everything, Jaiho marveled. There's more, Taiwan continued. Each facility contains specialists chosen for specific fields, scientists, artists, philosophers. They didn't just preserve their civilization, they preserved the best of their knowledge and culture. Araya's hologram appeared beside them. Humanity believed that true peace would require more than just technological advancement. They waited to ensure their children would value wisdom alongside power. The chamber's displays shifted, showing scenes from across the galaxy. Former warships now carried scientific expeditions to unexplored regions, Military academies had been transformed into centers of learning and cultural exchange. The weapons that had once threatened worlds now powered engines of discovery. "We've received the first signals from the cryo facilities," Sunmai reported, joining them in the chamber. "They're monitoring our progress, evaluating whether we're ready for the next phase." Newell entered next, her security uniform now bearing the new symbol of the United Galactic Council, a combination of the old faction emblems with humanity's shield at the center. "The last holdout worlds have signed the peace accords," she announced. "The war is officially over." As if in response to her words, a new hologram appeared in the chamber center. Unlike ARIA's familiar presence, this was a recorded message, a human woman in simple clothing, her expression both proud and hopeful. "To our children," the message began, "if you're seeing this, you've taken the first steps toward true civilization. The Guardian Network was never meant to control you, but to show you a better path. Your wars are not a failure, but a necessary part of growing up. Now it's time for the next step." The team watched in silence as the message continued. "We went into cryo sleep not out of fear or weakness, but to give you time to develop your own identity. Your civilizations, though born from our legacy, are unique and valuable. When we wake, it will not be as rulers returning to their realm, but as equals meeting their family for the first time." The hologram smiled warmly. "The Guardians will remain active until that day comes, not as your jailers, but as your protectors while you finish growing into your potential. When you're ready, truly ready, we'll wake up. Until then, know that we are proud of how far you've come." As the message faded, Jeho looked at his team. People who had once been divided by war now united in purpose. "They were never gone," he said softly. "They were just waiting for us to learn how to live in peace." Taiwan turned back to his console, already preparing for their next discovery. Sunmei updated their records with the new information. Newell coordinated with security teams across the galaxy, ensuring the continued safety of their transformed civilization. Outside the station's windows, ships of all former factions traveled peacefully through space. The galaxy had changed not through force or conquest, but through understanding. Humanity's children had finally begun to grow up, and somewhere in the vastness of space, their parents slept peacefully, waiting for the day of reunion. The age of war was over. The age of discovery had begun, and in facilities scattered throughout the stars, the Guardians watched over it all, their ancient wisdom helping to guide the galaxy toward a future that humanity had dreamed of long ago. The story of the galaxy's transformation would be told for generations to come, not as a tale of defeat, but as one of revelation and growth. The children of Earth had found their way home, guided by shepherds who had been there all along, waiting patiently in the dark. Asterisk in every corner of known space, peace now reigned, watched over by those who had loved humanity's children enough to let them grow up on their own asterisk.